After our first taste of desert camping in the U.A.E, we pushed north from Al Ain, tracing the Oman border, the empty quarter stretching endlessly beside us. Two riders this close to the line drew attention, and before long we were stopped by border guards. But what started as questioning turned into a surprisingly warm exchange.
Thank you.
We finished the day at Inkampu Oasis, cooking over fires, camping under the stars, and riding dunes out to a forgotten ghost village buried in the sand. From here, we continue north, out of the desert and into the mangroves along the coast, before turning inland and climbing into the Hajar mountains toward Jebel Jais. The terrain shifts quickly, the riding gets harder, and somewhere near the end of the road, things start to go sideways.
I'm down. Are you okay? No, it's just on my leg.
Hon, I'm coming.
Alright.
On the road.
We left Inkampu early, hoping to get ahead of the midday heat before it caught up with us.
So we're just cruising up to a museum. Maybe we'll just kind of take a look. Whoa, it's a big Jeep.
Along the way, we stopped briefly at an off-road vehicle museum, home to some of the largest 4x4s we'd ever seen. From there, we made our way out to the coast, toward Khor Al Yifra in the emirate of Al Quwain, home to a stretch of mangroves that are part of a large coastal ecosystem that serves as a seasonal stopover for thousands of migratory birds moving between Europe, Asia, and Africa. Flamingos, herons, and ospreys all pass through here at different times of year.
Some flamingos out there in the mangroves.
Using these shallow, protected waters to rest and feed before continuing on. For us, it was also our first time seeing the ocean since arriving in the U.A.E. We'd been inland the whole time, working on the bikes, riding through the desert, and hadn't properly made it out to the coast yet.
So it's actually very cool. Like the camping's just right here, and then there's the water. It's beautiful. It's so blue.
We figured we'd try our luck camping on the beach for the night. But as soon as we arrived, a strong wind advisory had come in, and everything along the shore was completely exposed.
These are the Zanzibar doors.
So instead, we slowed down, had some tea, and took in the view. As we rode through the towns toward our stop for the night, one thing kept standing out: just how clean everything was. We'd passed workers constantly out along the roads, sweeping, maintaining, taking care of every stretch of highway. There was hardly any trash to be seen. It felt completely different from a lot of places we've traveled. Plus, everything you could need was just there. Fuel stations everywhere, coffee, food, no searching, no uncertainty. Coming from riding in parts of Africa where finding fuel or even a place to stop could take hours, it felt like a luxury having it all within reach.
It's amazing how less crowded these little towns are. I mean, there would be hundreds of people in Africa.
This is what I would consider a crowded town here too. Another cool mosque.
Beautiful.
We passed mosque after mosque, bright white, almost glowing in the sunlight, as we rode through the city looking for a place to rest for the night. We found a cheap room in town, and for a few extra dollars, it was worth getting out of the elements for the night.
We're leaving our lovely hotel for the night. A couple dollars more than camping. Especially love this bathroom. Babe, we gotta do this kind of tile work. I don't know if I love it or I get nauseous by it.
Okay, so we just got the bikes loaded up at the Hotel. I'm not really sure on the name, it just says SH. So we think it's just Anyways, we're really excited to get going today. It's our usual 12 o'clock start, and we're going up to Jebel Jais, which is the tallest mountain in the U.A.E. It's part of the Hajar mountain range. So from here, we're just going to be riding into the Hajar mountains. And I think there's a bunch of cool wadis and campsites. We're excited to get back up in the mountains and see something different besides the deserts. I think it'll be pretty cool.
And we're going to use some chain lube today.
Which is very exciting.
That's a
rare.
big day. We usually don't use chain lube, not because we don't believe in it, but just because we forget and then we don't buy it, and then we're in the dirt, and then we don't know if it's better to put it on before riding the dirt or don't put it on. But we're going to put it on. We
There's another man.
are heading to the largest mountain in the Emirates.
Jebel Jais.
Jebel Jais.
From the coast, we turned inland and began climbing toward Jebel Jais, the highest peak in the UAE, rising to about 1,934 meters above sea level.
Look at these guys. Do you think they had fun?
Yeah. Whoa, those look fast.
Those look fast.
Yeah, so amazing. Wow. I bet all the people that live in here are pretty good climbers.
Yep, they all get sandals. Whoa. I'm gonna drag my pegs. It's weird when your visor is actually obstructing your view because that means the mountains are very tall.
It sits in the emirate of Ras Al Khaimah, right along the border with Oman, and forms part of the rugged Hajar Mountains, a range that began forming tens of millions of years ago as tectonic forces pushed ancient ocean floor up into jagged peaks. Even now, you can see it in the rock, layers twisted, folded, and exposed by time.
This is Lhasa. Wow, what a cool place to grow up.
It does kind of remind me more of like Nepal or Tibet or something right here. Maybe that's why they call it Lhasa.
There's some caves up there at the top. Much bigger than I was expecting.
The summit itself actually lies across the border in Oman, but a nearby high point on the U.A.E. side, around 1,892 meters, is considered the country's highest point. As you ride up, you're moving right toward that boundary, where the mountain quite literally splits between the two countries.
I think we have to turn around.
On one side, developed roads and viewpoints, and on the other side, steep, rugged slopes dropping away into far more remote and undeveloped terrain.
Whoa, you can see over there is the luge, like a little roller coaster you can ride down. There's also a massive zip line. It all would be very fun, but it's probably extremely expensive, so we're gonna have to pass. But I do like those kind of things. All these little dumpsters and round red bins, they're all for camping, yeah. So you can just camp anywhere up here, which is pretty cool. And you got yourself a little fire pit. Apparently it gets very cold up here. All right, let's look at the view up here. Now we're gonna wind our way back down the mountain, kind of make our way into like the wadis in between and go find a campsite.
The road up Jebel Jais is a relatively recent build, engineered to wind its way deep into the mountains, with perfectly laid asphalt and long sweeping switchbacks that seem designed for riding. It's become one of the most iconic drives in the UAE, not just for the views, but for the experience of the climb itself. Down below, it was desert heat, but up here it cooled off quickly and felt like we'd stepped into a completely different environment. You won't find forests or dense vegetation here, but life still exists in small pockets. Goats move across the impossibly steep terrain, and in the cooler months, migratory birds pass through these higher elevations.
Look at this guy. He's a little mountain goating around.
He's like no problem hopping up on that wall. That's pretty impressive.
Wow, that's like a training course for like a baby mountain goat.
I know.
Historically, these mountains weren't empty. Small communities once lived in these valleys, relying on seasonal water sources and moving through the terrain with an intimate knowledge of the land. Even now, you'll occasionally spot the remains of old stone structures scattered far up the mountainside. The name itself is tied to the region. Some say it means Mountain of the Peaks, reflecting its place within the northern Hajar range. It's the kind of place that doesn't feel like the UAE most people imagine. It negates sand dunes and embraces elevation, space, and silence. And for us, it turned into one of those rides you don't rush. Just endless turns, expansive views, and a road that keeps pulling you further in.
I don't know what these are called. Do you remember?
No.
Anyways, I tried to order one. to try, but then he brought me a whole plate and said it only comes by the plate.
This is like it's like having a bunch of little
We
donuts.
basically have like 400 donut holes now, but they're amazing.
They're really good. We'll
It's like
put them in the bikes.
It has like sesame and caramel sauce on top. It's so good.
After a few too many donut holes and what we like to call crack tea, we headed back out, dropping off the mountain and into a rugged wadi below Jebel Jais.
Sun on the mountains is awesome.
It's pretty
Really
spectacular.
We're gonna go as far as the road goes and look for a campsite at the end.
Going to Sal.
Going to Sal, the village of Sal. A lot of these places actually look newly built.
Yeah.
Ethan's carrying the box of donuts on top of his back.
The weather started to shift as we rode in, clouds building overhead, wind funneling through the canyon.
We let out some air pressure and it really helped.
At first, the road didn't seem like much. We'd seen the hazard signs before, and usually it just meant taking it slow.
It's really stunning though. Like way more beautiful than like even the earlier today.
Oh yeah, because you're in it and kind of on the gravel road makes it much prettier.
Yeah, I think it's good we let some air pressure out.
Oh yeah, you can see the road over there.
Totally. So that's where it's starting to get like 4x4 only.
For sure.
You good?
Yeah.
This is also kind of like, oh wow. Oh, maybe this is what she means by like 4x.
I think so. This is the part that's probably kind of steep.
The deeper we went, the rougher it got. The climbs steepened, the rocks got bigger, and traction started to disappear. It's the kind of riding that never really comes across on camera.
How you doing?
Fine.
But the rear wheels were spinning, clutches slipping, and every section demanded more than we expected.
Whoa.
You okay?
Yeah, it's just more gnarly than I expected.
I want to get the first gear.
We kept pushing further into the canyon, not really knowing what was ahead.
Whoa. That's a cool view.
Until we rounded a bend and saw a figure in the distance. An older man sat up on the rocks above us, watching, waiting. He didn't need to say much. We already knew we shouldn't keep going.
Oh, there's like kind of like a road sign stop thing. It says no entry.
Oh, really?
I don't think you can. We were going to camp. Okay. So go back. Okay.
Okay. Can't go any further.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I just like was sliding.
Okay. Maybe he's talking about the rocks
Yeah, maybe.
being dangerous. Let me help you though, babe.
I'm fine. Maybe go straight and turn around.
Huh? Yeah, okay. I'm down.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm coming. Let me just park my bike right up here. Just wait a sec.
Okay.
Are you okay?
No, it's just on my leg.
Hon, I'm coming. It's on your leg. You get it out? Okay, now we go. We can put it down first. Are you okay? Thank you. Okay, ready? You have the brake? Okay. Do you want me to hold the brake?
Yeah, hold on. I gotta go this way.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, look at her. Good. Go on.
Okay. You want to just wiggle the tire?
Okay.
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 Forward.
Go.
Okay.
Go.
Now,
Go.
now you can bump start it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, should I just get my bike and come down, hon? I'm fine. Are you okay? Yeah, mine's okay. Thank you. What a cutie. Yeah, I'm on like a plateau. Is your leg okay? Okay. I'm just gonna bump start going down. Thank you very much. Thank you. Alright, I'm coming. You good? Oh. Oh, it's flooded.
Okay,
Got it?
it's good.
Okay, cool.
That was annoying.
And I'm sorry.
I guess he probably sits up there for campers every day.
Yeah, it tells people to go back. That's his job.
Yeah,
I wonder if he's like the mayor of Sal.
could be. But here's the thing: is I don't know. Are we not supposed to camp anywhere around here now?
I think we can. Let's just go to the spot right up here that has like the flat driveway.
But is he gonna come up and say we can't camp there?
No, I don't think so. I think that you can camp here. It's just like,
I don't know though. He kind of makes it sound like keep going, like leave, go all the way. I mean, I don't know.
huh.
I just would hate to like set everything up and have him come up and be like, you know, you can't camp here either.
I just feel like it's more free range camping around here.
But it said no entry at the right past that. I mean, I'm just saying. I mean, can you imagine like having your BMW fall on your leg? Like I could have gotten out if I like had to, like
Yeah.
really had to.
Well, I also was really grateful that he was there because it's like I could have had lifted it enough for you to get out if I had to, but it was a lot easier with him.
Well, man, I just had to get it up like an inch.
Yeah, exactly.
It was wedged like perfectly through.
Well, it's the hardest when it's on like a little bit of an incline like that. You
Totally.
know?
Luckily, Ethan's leg was fine, one of the perks of riding lighter bikes. But it was a reminder that routes change, camps disappear, and sometimes the only reliable guide is the old man on the rock, urgently pointing you somewhere else. Eventually, we came across a flat clearing with a few fire pits and figured it was a good place to stop before sundown.
Okay, so we just pulled off at this campsite after having our run-in with the guy at the top of the hill, and he went and continued on out, so we're hoping that it's okay to camp here. There's a couple like little fire pits, so we're thinking it's okay, but he was kind of motioning for us to just like keep going, so it's not very encouraging. We're just gonna eat something and wait to set up until after dark. How's morale, hon?
It's good. I just don't want to be woken up at midnight, but
I know.
or 6.
Or 6. After Somaliland, we're a little uneasy on whether someone's gonna come wake us up in the middle of the night and make us pack up and leave camp. So hopefully that doesn't happen. It's a really pretty view though.
Let's start eating because the flies are coming.
Let's start eating. We're having tuna and the rest of our expensive paratha.
The sun sank behind the peaks and the warm yellow light faded to blue before the mountains slipped into darkness.
Sun's gone down. Last light's over here. We just got camp set up. We're probably just gonna get our headlamps on, read some books, and go to bed early.
Stars emerged overhead as the wind picked up, and we were glad to be in the tent early, ready for a quiet night's sleep.
Yeah, well,
The bugs were few, just the breeze moving through the canyon, and the occasional clatter of a rock in the distance. Our first day in the Hajar Mountains had already been unforgettable, and we couldn't wait to see what the road would bring tomorrow. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one, as the road leads us deeper into this impressive range.